bushy, bushy blonde hair, serving USA.
Hi, my name is Kay,
Hi, my name is Raul.
and we're here to talk to you about the effects of climate change on sea level. Climate change refers to the various changes which are occurring in our planet due to an increase in greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are emitted through a combination of burning fossil fuels, production of natural gas, and combustion of solid waste. They capture the heat that reflects off the Earth's surface and cause the warming of the planet. Climate change causes many environmental problems such as a rise in sea level, changes in flower blooming, and modified animal migration patterns. This increase in human-led greenhouse gas production has caused the rise in sea level in South Florida.
Sea level rise is caused by an expansion of seawater due to warmth and the melting of ice caps. Global and local sea level rise is different because of the curvature of the Earth. Since the Earth is not flat, sea level changes at different rates. In Miami Beach, sea level has risen 2.39 millimeters per year, while in Marathon, Florida, it has risen 3.69 millimeters per year. This difference in sea level rise is due to erosion, land height, and many other relative factors. Increase in sea level is significant in South Florida because of the presence of underground aquifers and the possibilities of flooding. Almost 90% of drinkable water in South Florida comes from underground aquifers. The water which is processed through these aquifers is being forced more inland due to saltwater pressure. Therefore, the rise in sea level causes coastal aquifers to be contaminated with salt water and provide less drinking water for South Floridians. Not only can the underground aquifers be flooded, but in the case of a hurricane, flooding can occur anywhere in South Florida.
Hey Adam, are you from Florida?
I'm not. I'm from Connecticut.
Do you believe in climate change?
I do. I believe that climate change is not only real, but also a prevalent issue in today's society.
Are you aware of the rise in sea level in South Florida?
I am aware of the rise in sea level in South Florida. As a marine biology major, it's an issue that's brought up a lot, and it's pretty relevant, especially here in South Florida, where around 80% of people live along the shore.
What do you think is a viable solution to this situation?
I'm not really sure of any viable solutions. However, I believe a lot of adaptations can be made to this problem, such as preparing buildings for high waters.
Thank you, Adam. Hey Brian, are you from Florida?
Yes, I was born and raised in Orlando.
Do you believe in climate change?
Yes, I do believe in climate change.
Are you aware of the rise in sea level in South Florida?
Yeah, actually I am, because I've been researching some things, and Florida's supposed to be underwater within the next 10 years or so, or 20 years.
What do you think is a viable solution to this situation?
Probably just to inform the population around Florida, United States, pretty much the world.
Thank you, Brian. Hey Josh, are you from Florida?
No, I'm from Indiana.
Do you believe in climate change?
Yes, I do believe in climate change because I've noticed that my state has a lot of record temperatures every single year.
Are you aware of the rise in sea level in South Florida?
Yes, I've actually heard about polar ice caps melting and that Florida might be underwater in a couple of years.
What do you think is a viable solution to this situation?
I think we should raise more awareness about the problem and then call on our government to make change.
Thank you, Josh. From our survey results, we can see that a lot of people are not from Florida, so they may not be aware of the dangerous effects of sea level rise on the coastal regions of Florida.
Also, all the people we surveyed believe in climate change. Many people may not know the extent of the damages that it can cause. This is why we created our organization, as we wanted to educate communities about climate change and the effects it has locally and globally.
Lastly, the majority of people are aware of the sea level rise problem in South Florida. This is good because these people may be interested in joining our organization and attending our events in order to protect our home.
The Coastal Ranger is a nonprofit organization led by college students whose goal is to protect the coastal regions of South Florida.
The aim of our foundation is to increase awareness for the impacts of sea level rise on South Florida, also to support a platform for the communication of countries that are in danger from the effects of sea level rise. We also aim to encourage research into the effects of sea levels on biodiversity and sustainable development. Lastly, to organize community outreach in order to combat the sea level rise. Our mission is to protect the coastal regions of South Florida from sea level rise damage through citizen engagement and community action rooted in education and outreach.
Lean on me when you're not strong.
The resource fair is open to the community and includes activities for all ages. These include lectures about conservation and ways to protect South Florida from the effects of sea level rise. We also include arts and crafts, using recycled materials such as water bottles to create jellyfish. We also offer a shower and light bulb exchange. Participants should bring old shower heads or light bulbs and exchange them for 2 high-efficiency shower heads or 2 incandescent bulbs for 2 CFL bulbs per household.
We also organize volunteer projects such as beach cleanups open to the surrounding communities as well as dune restoration projects. Lastly, we offer climate trainings. These trainings aim to teach our participants the latest data about sea level rise and solutions that can be implemented to reduce our carbon footprint.
Our climate trainings bring climate scientists from around the world to talk about climate change and also speak about renewable energies.
Changing out on the run.
Sea level rise is a huge problem facing South Florida today, and there must be steps taken in order to mitigate the problem. One way to start confronting the sea level rise is by building barriers such as dams, gates, or locks. This barrier would act as an obstacle for the rising water and aid in managing the flow of water so that a flood would not occur during a storm. Another strategy to manage the rising sea level is to build seawalls and bulkheads that can protect the shore from strong waves. Many of these structures are built in such a way that they prevent erosion while also assisting in the protection of the coast from high water levels. Mitigation can only go so far before adaptation has to be considered. One way to adapt to the growing sea level problem is to use floatable developments that can be employed in order to combat the rising sea level. These buildings would be created to withstand flooding and could even capture stormwater for reuse. Another way to adapt to the rising sea level is to create floating buildings. These buildings could either be secured to the seafloor or the shore and are very similar to boats. They would have the same technology as boats but without the added mobility. This cannot be limited to buildings and houses but can also be used for floating agriculture. Many of the farms and orchards on the coast of South Florida can be affected just as much as the coastal communities and must be relocated. These floating farms will provide a way to keep a farmer's way of life while also adapting to environmental changes. The last course of action would be to leave areas that are endangered by the shorelines. The ideas put into place may not be enough to completely protect coastal communities from the sea, but the only course of action is by leaving those places. This would include people leaving their homes, their neighborhoods, and their lives behind in order to seek higher ground. One of our sponsors is the Miami Waterkeeper. The Miami Waterkeeper aspires to educate the people of Miami about the effects that the sea level rise can have on our lives in the future. They also aim to deploy sustainable barriers and other forms of adaptation that can help in protecting Miami from future damage. Another nonprofit organization that works with us is the Clio Institute. The Clio Institute dedicates time to educating the people about climate change as well. They stress that action must be taken to address climate change and its effect on sea level rise as quickly as possible in order to protect coastal communities from major flooding. The Clio Institute hosts many lectures and seminars to educate community leaders about the effects of sea level rise and how it could directly affect their lives now. Lastly, the Sea Level Rise Foundation is a nonprofit organization that works with us and that was founded in 2007. They deal with the impacts of sea level rise on coastal communities. Their mission is to draw attention to the problem facing waterfront neighborhoods. They also work to connect different small states and nations affected by sea level rise in order to foster communication on ways to adapt to the climate crisis around the world. The Sea Level Rise Foundation supports further research on sustainable development to combat the effects of sea level rise like all other organizations.
A little less conversation, a little more action.
We are looking for college students that are interested in helping protect our environment from the effects of sea level rise. Sea level rise can drastically change our way of life.
It could even potentially drive us out of South Florida. We hope you join Coastal Rangers to not only save our home, but make a worldwide impact.
1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days.
It's too late. Now you ruined the video. Take.
I didn't ruin anything.
Ah!
Look, you put it right here, so...
Climate change.
What?
Sea level rise damage through.
Oh.
Yeah.
Raggy?
Your old Mrs. Pteranodon.
Oh, this is your family and I'm your mom. You may be different, but we're all creatures. All dinosaurs.
Why did you... Wait, plug in the Mac!
Plug in your face.
Plug the Mac.
Plugged.
Pause this.
Hey Adam, are you from Florida?
Come on!
I didn't mean to do that.
And I missed you.
Stop.
I woke up Chris Breezy. Oh my God.